Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for sharing in our conversation today. My name is Lana Lane, and I'm currently right now the family liaison worker with Grace United Church here in Lloydminster, Alberta / Saskatchewan. So the church is actually on the Alberta side, but for many of you out there, you may know that Lloydminster is a border city. So welcome to my conversation today. I'm actually here to share a little bit about an outreach program that we have termed Soup for the Soul, and it's actually based on food, of course, and our outreach program that's going on right now at Grace United Church. So just as a little bit of a background, we are in year 3 of some strategic planning at our church here in Lloydminster. We have an aging population in our congregation, and the target for our strategic planning has been a lot to network with families in our community and bring some younger families and people back to the church. So my work has been involved heavily in offering programming and events that do get people back into our church here, and very specifically targeting younger families. So some of the outreach programming that we've done here that's gone very, very well and has helped us now branch into our focus discussion today. I was just mentioning here with Joshua earlier, we have a homework program that runs for kids grades 7 to 12. Every Tuesday, kids come into our program, and we've got tutors and teachers that help our students with homework, and our grandmas in the kitchen, as we call them, actually prepare meals and food for the kids that attend that program. Another way we've tried to reach some of our younger families is we've got a huge congregation of amazing singers and talented musicians. And so we run a Groovin with Grace, which is a 12 to 18-year-old music program, as well as the Kidz Praize, which is a 4 to 11. So again, because food has been a huge part of our outreach and focus, those kids are also fed when they come to the program once a week, also on Tuesdays. And they are here for an hour with our musicians, and we offer that program. One of the programs that's really taken off well, again, with our outreach, not only with congregation members, but a huge part of our community is what we call Meals and More. So that program has been where we provide the food. If families are able to afford that food, we do charge $50 a week where the kids or the families come in. And we actually create 4 meals for families throughout the week. But the huge focus of that program has been to target at least 30% of our community population on families that are unable to afford or are vulnerable in our community. And they are actually cooking and creating in the kitchen with those that can afford. So we've done very, very well with our cooking programs. And so that's where the Soup for the Soul now comes from. So on Wednesday afternoons, we have 3 volunteers that have background in health and social work that have been giving their time from 1 o'clock till 3 every Wednesday throughout the year. And we have street population as well as that vulnerable community that come into the church. And so what happens during that time is our volunteers, there's always 2 of them that run the program during that 2-hour time. They come in and they offer the listening ear. So they are not counselors, they're not trained in that, but what they do is listen. And they listen for the struggle and the hardship that these families are going through. And the goal of the program is to just provide that listening ear, but also lend a hand in where do we go from here. So knowing what services in our community are available to support these families. And a huge part of that support has been the outreach through food. So they are able to access our pantry, which is filled by congregation members as well as donations throughout the community that stock that shelf. So it's not only food, but it's diapers and it's the personal hygiene items, and it's anything that families struggling may need to get through because of the crisis they're in at that time. So again, those families would come Wednesdays from about 1 to 3, and it is a quick conversation and is just a listening ear of what it is that they need that may help them get through that struggling time. So often it is a bag of food that goes home with them. And this is where I guess the Soup for the Soul has now kind of become an initiative that we want to see. So again, we've got grandmas in the kitchen, we've got grandpas in the kitchen, but we do, as I had mentioned, have an aging population that do have amazing talents that want to give of their time. So our goal with the Soup for the Soul program is that we develop cooking teams. So teams of 4 to 6 members that would meet in our commercialized size kitchen here at Grace, and they would create soups that would then be stored and frozen in our freezers. So we are looking at 1 liter plastic containers that would be a hardy plastic. Our goal is to label those soup containers with Soup for the Soul labels, but another neat twist to that is we want to provide quotes and some pieces of, I guess, encouragement from the Bible. So on that label is going to be some quotes and verses from the Bible that hopefully will resonate with the people that we are sharing this soup with. And like I said, the freezer will get stocked. We're looking at probably 6 to 8 teams of cookers that will grab the friends that they want to bring in. And I guess another target of what we want to do with this cooking time in the kitchen is that you bring your team of 4 in, but we also want to network with you, some of the people that we know that could also join you in the kitchen that maybe need a little bit of support, and are also going to learn from you on how to prepare those meals on their own. So right now we're at the initial stages of what this Soup for the Soul looks like. We know we do want to start in the fall here. Our program runs, and it doesn't matter if COVID's here or not. We have continued to run that outreach programming. So we do want to begin in the fall here, and we'll get those teams going, and we will start to create the soup. And it'll be frozen in the freezer, and we've definitely, I guess, have aimed our focus on the outreach programming that is going on Wednesdays from 1 to 3. But we also know that there are families that struggle throughout the year that maybe aren't a part of our outreach family. So they've lost a loved one, or they've come across some very tough times. And we know that if we've got that food frozen in the freezer, we always have something that we are able to provide for those families. So, again, the Soup for the Soul is definitely part of the outreach for Wednesday. We've run into a few times where that cabinet does become empty and the counters are not full, and you can only ask your congregation so many times to keep supplying that counter. So another thing that we've worked really hard in Lloydminster here is we've networked with a lot of great organizations. So the Men's Shelter, Olive Tree, Salvation Army, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And we're able to, because we service a lot of the same population, we're able to work together and have those conversations together with each other as to what that support can look like. So we do get food from those agencies, and we're able to create and supply those cabinets as well as we can. So we're very excited about the program. We're very grateful to the United Church for allowing us to, I guess, create these initiatives and be supportive financially with some of these initiatives that we're trying to do. So I guess that in a wrap is probably the Soup for the Soul program.